Hello and welcome to my realm. Today I'm going to be talking about what I'm bringing in my backpack for San Diego Comic-Con. I have been attending San Diego Comic-Con consistently since 2018, so I feel like I have a pretty good handle on what I need to have a successful convention. So I figured I would make a video and kind of share what I do in hopes that maybe it could help someone else. First things first is a good backpack. I look for a bag that has a lot of pockets so that I can stay organized and have specific pockets so I can find things quickly. This is a new backpack that I just bought recently specifically for Comic-Con. It has lots of pockets. It has side pockets, which I like for my water bottle and poster tube. I also like that it has nice padded straps. And lastly, I chose this one because it's kind of thinner, like on the side profile, because what I hate about going through Comic-Con is people with giant bags and they turn around and whack you with their backpack. It's the worst. So, and it happens to me a lot because I'm short. I'm only 5 feet, and so I'm like right at eye level of like all of these backpacks, and oh my gosh, it's so annoying. So I decided to be conscious about that and picked something that was going to be more slim and close to my back so that I wouldn't be that person whacking people with it. So backpack, pockets, good straps, not too bulky. Those are key for me when looking for a backpack for a big convention like San Diego. First and most importantly, I always make sure to pack my badge. This is super important, so I make sure to pack that. It's also nice to have your own lanyard. Comic-Con doesn't ship out lanyards with your badges. You have to go pick them up. Since I get my badge shipped directly to my house, it's the easiest for me to just have my own lanyard that I already like. You also want to make sure that you have your wallet, make sure you have cash and cards. Most vendors, I want to say, will take card, but I also think it's important to have cash because sometimes the Wi-Fi in the exhibit hall is slow or things may not be working properly. So if you have cash, you have a backup option. In some cases, I've experienced things where they'll let you skip ahead of the line if you're paying in cash because it's that much faster. Next, make sure you have all of your confirmations. If you are attending any offsites, if you want any exclusive signings or vendor slots, make sure you have those confirmation codes. I recommend not relying on the internet, so either take a screenshot or print things out, or both. But just make sure you have some way to access your confirmation codes and tickets in case you don't have Wi-Fi for any reason. If you have an itinerary, make sure you either have it on your phone or again, print it out so that you have a hard copy. Personally, I like to have a hard copy of my schedule, so I put it on my phone, but I also print it out because I like to save my battery life and it helps me not look at my phone as much if I have my schedule printed out. Some useful items that you'll want to bring in your backpack: a battery pack and any necessary charging cables. I personally like the type of battery pack that has the cables built in. I also like that this one here has multiple types of cables. So if my friend has like an iPhone, I have an Android, I can still help them out because I have the cables already here on my charger. Something to write with or something for autographs. I like to bring a silver Sharpie, and a pen. All of these have been useful in one way or another. Yes, in most cases, if you go to a signing where you have to pay or you won a signing, they will have pens, but there's always a situation where they may not have the color you want, or maybe theirs is not the greatest. So if you have your own pen that you like and you're comfortable with, bring it and have them use your pen if you prefer. Tote bags are great. And yes, you can find free ones all over the exhibit hall, but sometimes you either don't know where they are, or they're not where you need them to be, or they run out. So my advice is to bring at least one in your backpack just in case. I also like to bring Ziploc bags. Small Ziploc bags are really great for organizing your swag if you get small things like buttons, pins, etc. Plastic bags will make sure that they don't escape your bag and just help keep things organized. Large bags are really good just for any larger things that you want to keep secure. I've had incidences where my water bottle broke and spilled all over everything in my backpack. So I do like bags, especially like if I have like a book, I can put this book in the giant Ziploc bag and it'll make sure that it doesn't get damaged while it's in my backpack. Whether you're cosplaying or not, a small sewing kit is actually really useful. Needles, thread, small pair of scissors, safety pins, anything like that is going to be useful to have. If you are cosplaying, it's also good to look up where the cosplay repair stations are. For example, there will be one at the San Diego Library. Make sure that you bring everything you want to sign. Take a look at your schedule. Look for anything where you're going to a signing or something that may not provide an item for you to get signed, and make sure that you have something on hand. It's possible that you may be able to find something in the exhibit hall, but in my experience, it's always best to be prepared and bring something that you personally would like signed. So for example, I bring my own books typically because it may not be guaranteed that the publishers will have this exact book that I want on the shelves or available. They may have limited quantities, so it's always best to just bring your own. Some types of items you may want to get signed could include Funkos, posters, comic books, trade paperbacks, anything like that. Try to make a list ahead of time so that you're not caught unawares. Look at your schedule, look at the autograph schedule on the Comic-Con website to make sure that you know who's going to be there and what to bring. And don't forget about protection. It's always a good idea to bring your own poster tube because there's no guarantee that you're going to be there while Hulu is handing out the traditional giant poster tubes. So bring your own. I like this kind. You don't have to buy the specific brand, but I like the kind that telescopes so I can adjust it to the size I need. I also like to bring some rubber bands on the poster tube so that I can rubber band the posters. These are just like little plastic top holders, and you can also buy these in the exhibit hall. I believe the booth is called Hot Flips, and it's typically located in like the 5,000 area near Artist Alley. They have a lot of different sizes and they're pretty inexpensive. If you're a comic book reader, you may also want to bring some extra bags and boards. I feel like people just shove comics in my hands sometimes and I'm like, what do I do with this? But if I have my bags and boards, then I have a place to keep them safe. If you have a lot of comics, I recommend getting yourself a Pro Folio, which is like a hard case for comic books, and it can fit both bagged and board comics and like trade paperbacks. Lastly, if you're a Funko collector, you might want to bring some pop protectors just in case you run into a booth that for some reason doesn't have pop protectors. It's also important to bring everything that you'll need to be comfortable while waiting in all of these lines. There's a reason that Comic-Con is called LineCon. That's because everywhere you go, there's going to be some kind of line. If you are the kind of person who does overnight lines or any kind of early morning lines where you're going to be in line for like 5-6 hours or more than that, it's a good idea to bring a chair. Personally, for those longer lines, I like to bring the camping chairs that require a bit of assembly, but the bonus is that they have a back, so you can lean back and it's heaven. I don't particularly like those pop-up stools, but I can see how they're useful because number one, they don't require any assembly. They're really quick to pop up and down. So if you're in a line that's going to be moving a lot, or if you know that you're going to be moving shortly after you get to the line, then those little pop-up stools are probably a better idea. I think that the camping chairs are easier to use when you're in a long line and are going to be there for a while. Alternately, if you don't want to bring a chair, you can also just bring like a small mat or a towel, something to sit on, because you could be sitting on the grass, you could be sitting on the floor. Because some lines are outside, sun protection is also important. You might want to bring sunscreen, a parasol is good, sunglasses, let's see, a hat, anything that's going to keep the sun off of you, because while a lot of people think, oh, it's San Diego, it's going to be cooler weather. I hate to tell you that's not really the case. There are a lot of lines where there's no shade and it gets hot. I was dying last year when I went to the silo offsite and I was like, why didn't I bring a parasol? So this year I made sure to get one, so I will be prepared for the outdoor lines. I also like to have a battery-powered fan. I bought this last year, and like I said, that silo line was brutal, but this little guy helped a lot. It's just a little pop-up fan. You click a button and you get a little fan. It's very nice. It's very safe. Like, it doesn't really hurt if you hit it accidentally. And as a bonus, this also works as a charger, so you can use this to charge your phone or your devices. If you're trying to avoid con crud and getting sick, I recommend bringing a nice bottle of hand sanitizer and a mask. I typically wear this in like the exhibit hall, or if I know I'm going to be in a panel room that's going to be very crowded. This is really nice. I cannot stress this enough. Please, please, please wear deodorant, bring deodorant, have deodorant in your bag so you can reapply throughout the day as necessary. I also bring a little bag that's full of like medications and different personal items. Like, let's see, I have ibuprofen because I have a tendency to get headaches. I have eye drops. I wear contacts, so eye drops are always good to have. And I have these little individual vials, which I like because I think they're very sanitary. Chapstick is always good. I have Band-Aids. I have Tums. I have allergy medication. If you have long hair or know someone with long hair, bring a hair tie. I have bobby pins. I have safety pins. I have super glue. I have a stylus for my phone. I have Lactaid. I have another bottle of sunscreen. I guess I'm just extra today. And I think that's pretty much it in this little baggie, but anything like that is good to have. If you have prescription medication or any medication that you might need to use during the convention, make sure you bring that. Like if you use an inhaler, make sure you have your inhaler on hand. Anything that you may need in an emergency, have it on hand. Lastly, before I get to the snacks, I like to bring my earbuds because I like to listen to music or things in line. Sometimes I do bring my Kindle so that I don't have to be reading or something on my phone. I can just use my Kindle and save my phone's battery life. Hydration! Make sure you bring a water bottle. They have refillable water stations all over the convention center. I think there's even a map somewhere, so if I find that, I'll link it in the description so you can have easy reference to it. I like to bring 2 water bottles. I like to bring this one for water. I like to use this for like coffee or anything that's not water. So for example, I bring the little liquid water enhancers like a Mio or something like that. They even have some with caffeine, which is really nice if you don't like coffee. So that way you can go refill the water bottle somewhere in the convention center and then add a little flavoring to it to make it something different than just drinking water. I like to bring instant coffee packets. This is a kind of coffee that will dissolve in cold water, so you don't need hot water. You can just go fill up your water bottle somewhere that has cold ice water and then add a packet and boom, instant cold brew. Well, you know, the closest thing to cold brew that you'll get. Lastly, I'll just read out what I have on my personal grocery list, what I like to bring to eat while I'm at the convention. So first thing on my list, granola bars, any kind of granola bar. But generally I pick ones that aren't like super crumbly so that I don't make a mess all over me and my cosplays. Carrots or apples. I usually bring chips or pretzels or both. Why not? I will bring dried fruits, nuts, something like a trail mix is good too. I also like to pack sandwiches. Generally I'll either like make myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the morning because I'm just basic, I don't really care. And lastly, I recommend bringing like mints or gum. If you're going to be like standing close to people, talking to people like pretty close, especially if you're doing like a signing or something, it's just a good idea to have fresh breath. So mints or gum, always a great idea. It's pretty much all I have on my list. I am sure that even with after all these years, I am probably still missing something obvious. So if I forgot something obvious, like please tell me. Leave a comment and I will add it to my list and I'll make a new video next year. My list may not apply to everyone, and if you don't have the same interests or goals as me, you might have different things in your bag depending on what you're trying to do. If you don't collect comics, you probably don't need bags and boards. But generally, I hope that most of these things are applicable. And if you have any comments, questions, anything, if you want to know something specific about Comic-Con, please let me know and I'll always try to answer to the best of my abilities. Thanks for watching.